I have not been to Minnesota in probably 20 years.
Bring gas. Welcome to Flagrant Howls, a Minnesota Timberwolves lifestyle podcast.
And on this episode, the sports dad, Judd Zulgad, Phil Mackey, we are going to pick all 82 Timberwolves games on the schedule and dissect them all in depth. Are you ready?
All 18 ESPN, ABC, and TNT games. By the way, just quickly, NBA TV does not count as a national game. I know that they try and sell those as they aren't, but still 18 up from 5.
So that's 18, that's just TNT, right. ABC, ESPN
/
5.
ESPN. Yes.
Yeah.
18.
So we're going to get into, we're not going to pick all 82 games. I was just kidding for those of you who have already ducked out because I said that. It's my bad.
I went through the schedule last night.
What do you have? Give me a win total.
44 wins.
44?
54.
Okay.
64. It's incredible.
44 feels a little light to me.
Yeah, probably.
The over-under is probably, 55, 54?
It probably is, yeah.
We'll get to some Wolves schedule facts. And then what I do want to do for you is I want to rank, I have the 8 favorite games for me on the Wolves schedule.
Okay.
And we can kind of talk about those. But over on the Score North app right now, we're giving away a couple things. We're giving away a 75-inch Roku Pro Series 4K TV that automatically adjusts color and sharpness for all of your Wolves games this season. Nearly an $1,800 value. You can register now in the Score North app under Listener Rewards. That's a 75-inch Roku Pro Series 4K TV we are giving away at the end of the month. And then we're also giving away a 4-pack of Renaissance Festival tickets. The Minnesota Renaissance Festival open weekends through September 29th plus Labor Day. You can register on the Score North app listener rewards section to win a 4-pack of tickets to the Renaissance Festival. So Alan Horton, the magnificent voice of Timberwolves basketball, he compiled a bunch of schedule notes here. So let's just go through these real quick. 14 back-to-backs, which sits right in the middle of the NBA average of 13 to 16. Back-to-backs without travel, only 5. So 9 of their back-to-backs include travel. They have more than the average number of weekend games. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They have 22 weekend games. NBA averages 18 weekend games. Their longest road trip is 5 games. Longest homestand is 5 games. They have the rest advantage 11 times. The rest disadvantage 9 times. So they have the rest advantage more than the disadvantage.
Good.
And then including NBA TV, 25 nationally televised games. And it's 17 or 18? 18 if you don't include NBA TV.
Yep. 18.
And then this I found interesting because the Wolves are in such just a weird spot as the easternmost or one of the easternmost Western Conference teams. They do travel the most miles of any team in the league. They travel 50,000 miles. Portland is 49,000, Sacramento 47, Golden State, so those West Coast teams.
Yep.
Compared to like Toronto, Detroit, Washington, those teams are traveling 15,000 fewer miles. And by the way, the Wolves' 6 closest opponents are all in the Eastern Conference, as they are every year. But just at some point, we had a couple weeks ago the realignment discussion. When you're Minnesota and you're in the middle of the country and you're traveling more than Portland and Sacramento, mileage-wise, might be time for some realignment that puts this team in the Eastern Conference.
Absolutely. This is and look, they travel, in charter planes now. It's not like the old days when you flew commercially and some huge dude had his legs out in like first class or coach, but still, that's a lot to travel. So I think from a Timberwolves perspective, I would far prefer, as we discussed that one time, to be in a division or conference that has Milwaukee, Chicago, Indianapolis. Like I can name a lot of teams that are a hell of a lot closer than what they consider a quick jaunt to, Denver or something, or going out to, LA to play the Clippers, the Lakers, the Kings. Quick question for you. Did you look, are they still able to hit the Clippers and Lakers back to back as much? Because the Clippers moved now to their own building out by where the Rams SoFi Stadium is.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering the scheduling that they used to do where the Lakers and Clippers couldn't play at the same time is now off. And I'm curious if that changes the dynamic of the trips out to Los Angeles.
Let me go through here. Just it's usually they stack
Sorry to
those.
spring this, but I just
No,
thought of it as we were talking about this.
they do. They have some. There are some weird little pockets of the schedule, and I'll save one of them for my rankings. But like for instance, they usually do play Portland both times on the same trip, but they'll put a day between the games, so it'll be like December
Right.
11th at Portland, day off, and then
That was a
December
COVID
13th.
thing. Yep.
Yep. This year they're just back-to-back games in Portland, Tuesday, Wednesday, November 12th and 13th,
Oh wow.
and get out.
I like
And
that.
then they have something similar at Golden State, December 6th, the day off, at Golden State again, December 8th, and then out.
Okay.
So even with that, they still travel the most miles,
Yeah, that's
which
really
is
interesting.
crazy.
Really.
So yeah, so they play. Okay, here's a stretch after Thanksgiving, November 29th, home against Clippers, home against Lakers 3 days later. Then they go at Clippers the next game, followed by the back-to-back at Golden State. And then I think you're right. I think because the at Lakers in February does not include at Clippers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't do the back-to-back Lakers Clippers
Which
thing.
I always thought was great.
Yeah, so how far apart are those arenas now?
Quite a ways. So the old Staples, which is now what, Cryptocurrent or something, is in downtown Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And the Clippers, which is, I guess this building is beyond magnificent,
It is.
is
Yeah.
out by SoFi Stadium, which is right by the airport. If I'm not mistaken, it's all where the Lakers used to play at the Fabulous Forum in Inglewood, which
Okay.
is nowhere near downtown. And of course, in that town, but basically you
man.
can get off the plane for the Clippers now. You can get off the plane, go to a hotel right by there, and play right by there. So that's the advantage.
So let me take you through my 8 favorite spots or games on the Wolves schedule here.
Okay.
I think these are ranked, but I'll start at the bottom here. It's not necessarily. I'll give you the top 3 are for sure ranked 1, 2, and 3, and then the other 5 are kind of in any given order.
Okay.
And then we can bandy. But if you have takes or thoughts on any of the teams or just the games or whatever. So number 8, opening night at the Lakers on TNT. This is the first time, I believe, since the NBA started doing this in 2002, where they'd put 2 featured games on opening night. I believe it's the first time in 20 plus years the Wolves have been one of those featured teams. So LeBron, Anthony Edwards,
Yep.
the Anthony Davis too, the Olympic reunion,
Yep.
and you get to open up the season with that TNT crew inside the NBA. Everything about it. That's going to be fun.
Yeah. And this is like when I see 18 games, so there's 13 more national TV games on the initial schedule, and games can be flexed in too. Like the Wolves are really good, and that's great. But I mean, this is a nod to Ant, right? Like
100%.
Like if the Wolves were really good, but they lacked the Ant dynamic, they're probably on about 13 times nationally. Like this is we are now entering what I would consider to be potentially the modern day Ant era.
Do you think they're ready for this? I mean, like, if you count the NBA TV games, it's like 30% of their games are on national TV.
Yeah. Do I think the Wolves are ready for this? I have
It's
some
a little extra pressure.
I have some question marks about the surrounding roster. Do I think that Ant is? Yes, most definitely. I think he's going to thrive with this, which at the end of the day is the most important thing.
Yeah, I think they are too. Okay, number 7, December 29th, home against the San Antonio Spurs. It's a local TV game only, but this is Wemby at Target Center.
Yeah.
Coming off, again, Olympic rivalry. Wemby might turn into a monster in year 2. He was already the best player on that French national team that almost won the gold medal.
Yeah.
What is he? He's going to turn 20 years old, whatever. So Ant versus Wemby, Target Center. And those guys are close enough in age. I mean, Ant is like 3 years older. That these might be, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to have something to say as a guy in his mid-20s, but these might be the 2 premier Western Conference players to watch for that. You got right now, it's like Jokic and Luka are the ready-made superstars that are ready to win championships. But this is like these 2 guys are going to be going head-to-head for potentially a decade in the Western Conference.
And what's fun about this game as well is Gobert, right? Like his
Gobert
going
and
against
Wemby.
his countrymen, And look, if they're going to have a chance to contain Wemby, Gobert at least is going to play a significant role. So, yeah, it's funny, the Spurs for what, Phil, the last 5-8 years have been just a dead ass team. I mean, Pop's still there, God bless him, but there's been an extended period now where the Spurs went from this model NBA franchise to, oh, the Spurs are in tonight. This is going to be fun. Yeah. And again, I think Ant is prepared because Ant will have some probably off nights, but there will never be a time, I don't think, where it'll be because he shrinks. Like I think he'll rise up to a lot of these matchups that you're going through.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. Okay, number 6 on my list, featured games. November 12th at the Portland Trailblazers. Why do you ask? Mm-hmm. That's the first game of the NBA Cup 2024. The NBA in-season tournament begins for the Timberwolves at the Blazers on November 12th. That's right. I am an NBA Cup truther. I think it's a great idea. I know people have mocked the Lakers for celebrating it, whatever.
Yeah.
Putting up a bit. Didn't they put a banner up?
Yes, which
next
I
to all
think
their championship banners?
Which I think is an atrocious move.
If you're the Lakers, it's a little weird. But if you're the Timberwolves, man, you put that banner up with pride.
Well, yeah, because you don't have any banners, right? Yeah. But I mean, the Lakers, like, let's see, championship. Hey, the NBA Cup, remember the year that we won that, LeBron? Yeah.
I don't know. I love it. I think November and December basketball can be quite pointless, and the NBA has known that for a long time. Like opening night's fun, and then Christmas is a great time.
Yep.
And we've even talked on this show about, would it make sense to just start the season on Christmas and then maybe take some games off, but then you're taking ticket revenue away and the owners aren't going to go for that. So how can you spice up November and December? I thought last year was great, man. Like it was intense.
Yeah. I hated a lot of the courts. Those courts were eyesores. Caused me to want to throw up. But I have no problem with look, again, the NBA Cup is not for old guys, right? So like if you're me, 54, the NBA Cup is stupid. The NBA doesn't think about me, nor should they. Like this is to try to engage young viewers. It's a good idea. I'm fine with it.
Make it a little more interesting. Like if we all agree objectively before last season, there weren't a whole lot of must-watch appointment viewing games on November 15th of an NBA calendar. And now there's a little bit more interest.
I would like to see a way to give the champion some type of playoff advantage. I don't know exactly. I'm spitballing here, right? But I would like to see it. If you're going to do it, I'd like to have it. And I know that I think there's huge bonuses and that's a lot for the players, but wouldn't it be fun if it gave like the champion some type of playoff advantage or something? I don't know.
I'm trying to think. So one of those, just to drill down that hole for a second, let's say if you win the NBA Cup, I think there's 2 advantages you could give. Either A, you get a guaranteed playoff spot. And for the Lakers, they were kind of grinding for that at the end of the season.
Right.
Now, ordinarily, I think the team that wins it is going to be a playoff team. Like it's pretty rare that you would, unless a devastating injury happens or something. But
right.
So you could guarantee a playoff spot, but over half the league gets in anyways, and you got to be a pretty good team. But the other thing you could guarantee is home court advantage in the first round.
Interesting.
But think about how crazy it would be. Let's say you were a play-in team. And so you're not guaranteed in, but if you get in, you have home court. So you get home court in the play-in. But what if you wind up, let's say you get in the play-in and you're like a 9 or 10 seed or whatever you are, and you lose the first, let's say you're a 7 or 8, you lose the first game.
Okay.
And then you win the second play-in game, and now you're the 8 seed. And there's a 70-win team at the top of the Western Conference. That doesn't have home court advantage in the first round.
I'm spitballing here. I just think I think it would be fun to incentivize it with
I agree.
Not just cash, but some sort of payoff for the team. But you're right.
I agree. It'd be fun.
Hey, 8 seed, you got home court. The ones you'd be like, we played 82 games not to get home court.
We went 70-12 and almost broke the wins record.
In your building.
Okay, number 5 on my list of favorite games, or in this case, this is the only non-game. It's a stretch on the schedule, so I'm cheating a little bit here.
All right.
It's the OKC stretch in February. This is kind of crazy. So the Wolves have a stretch right before the All-Star break and after the All-Star break, where they get on February 13th, home against Oklahoma City on TNT.
Okay.
Then it's All-Star weekend. And then on Friday, February 21st, they play at Houston, followed by back-to-back games against Oklahoma City on national TV, literally like a back-to-back. So it's Sunday, February 23rd, home against OKC, ESPN. And then the next night at Oklahoma City on NBA TV. So you play Oklahoma City, the team that you probably, we'll see how the season goes and injuries and whatever, but like you might be fighting with this team for the top of the Western Conference standings. And this is middle of February. It's an 11-day stretch where you play Oklahoma City 3 different times, all 3 games on national TV, TNT, ESPN, and NBA TV. That's how you spark a rivalry right there.
That's interesting scheduling too.
Yeah, it's
like bang, bang, bang like that. That's interesting. But yeah, I like this is going to be and the SGA Ant rivalry, I think, is primed to take off big time.
Agreed. Because SGA
there.
Does some trash talking.
It's there, but I think this year, again, I think that we are starting what I would call the current Ant era. I think we're going to see a lot of things now. Like it's gotten to a point where he's not a secret at all anymore. I don't think there's a debate about his greatness now. He was certainly a contributor on the Olympic team. I think we've now crossed a threshold where like everybody is aware of his potential impact.
Yeah. And I mean, SGA was, flirting with an MVP last year, and
Clippers traded him too.
Yeah, that's, man, did Oklahoma City, this is a whole nother podcast, but like, there's no way they thought they were getting this when they made that trade. Obviously the Clippers wouldn't have traded him if they would have known that they were dealing with this type of player.
Hell of a trade.
But yeah, Ant and SGA going back and forth.
Yep.
Okay, number 4, December 6th at the Warriors on ESPN. Mm-hmm. And what I want to know here is what will the temperature be between these teams? Because you think about last year around that time, can't remember what the exact date was, but there was the dust up where Draymond Green is choking out Rudy Gobert, winds up having to go to therapy and gets suspended indefinitely. But now that a year has passed and you've had the Olympic experience where Steve Kerr and Anthony Edwards and Steph Curry have all been kind of kumbaya, bonding together, winning gold medals together.
Yep.
Does the temperature cool off a year later between Warriors and Timberwolves, or does all the Olympic stuff sort of go away? And Klay Thompson's gone from that team, and he was at the center with Jaden McDaniels. That's going to be an interesting one on December 6th at Golden State. Write
this down. Draymond Green will not play in that game. He'll either be hurt, suspended. I don't think he's going to. It's funny how guys with big mouths like Butler and Green tend to disappear when the smoke and the pressure gets turned up at times. I'm going to predict he will not play in that game.
And by the way, we mentioned this briefly, but it is.
It's man.
December 6th at Golden State, day off. Then they go back to the same arena. So they stay and play another game on Sunday. And then Golden State, it looks like, I don't know, less than 2 weeks later, December 21st, comes to Target Center. So you get Golden State 3 times in 2 weeks. And there's a period between December 8th and 19th where you don't have a scheduled game because that's where the in-season tournament gets scheduled out with quarterfinals, et cetera.
Right.
So, but that'll be, Draymond.
He'll turn his ankle right before all of this. And I can't play in these games. I'm sorry.
Air quotes, turned his ankle, or do you think he'll actually turn his ankle?
Well, he's crazy enough. He might actually do it to justify sitting out those games.
I don't think he's ducking it. Like, I think he wants to take the fight to Rudy Gobert and Cat. I don't know, man. He's it's a weird guy. January 25th. So now we're into my top 3 games I'm most excited about here.
All right.
On the schedule. January 25th, home against the Nuggets on ABC. So this is ABC, baby. Here we go. This is as prime time as you can get.
American Broadcasting Company in your town.
Yes. Now this is their second matchup of the year, so I'm not highlighting their first one because the first one comes it's November 1st. It is ESPN, but I want get settled into the season here.
Right? Yeah. I got you.
Who are these teams?
Can't pick them all.
Yeah. So they've got this game on January 25th, and then 2 others later in the season on ESPN and TNT. All 4 games against the Nuggets are on either ABC, ESPN, or TNT. So the league has clearly highlighted 7-game series, played each other 2 years in a row in the playoffs.
Rivalry.
Jokic, Ant. It's a rivalry. This is officially an NBA rivalry based on the national TV schedule.
Joker's brothers.
It's crazy.
Massive brothers. Just
Sitting in that booth at Target
beer,
Center.
Bigger than a house. Yep.
You see the Joker after winning the bronze medal.
Yeah.
Celebrating more than he celebrated an NBA championship, and then just like going to the horse track, hanging out with his horse.
Just went home. Just immediately went home. He's great. He is a character, man. He's great.
Okay, number 2, November 24th at the Boston Celtics. Local TV only for both Celtics games.
Surprised one didn't see flex possibilities for those, right?
Could
At
be,
least one of them.
November's pretty early to be flexing, but I circled this one. It's a Sunday afternoon game. It's the first of 2 games against Boston.
Shocked.
Measuring stick. Because this is the defending champion, the most complete team.
Beat him at home last year.
And almost beat him on the road without,
that's right.
It was like without 2 or 3 key players. They were up by 9.
Flew in the day of the game because of, I think they couldn't get in from Miami the night before due to weather.
Yes.
So, yeah, you're right.
They were up by 9 with 3 minutes to go in Boston. Like they played Boston really well in the regular season. And then number 1, it's got to be the Christmas Day game at Dallas, ABC. And I'll say this is maybe another episode for another time to do a deeper dive. The more you look back at Anthony Edwards in the Olympics dominating for stretches, and the more you look at the first 2 series before that Mavericks series, I think the fall he took in Game 6 against Denver was far more impactful from an injury standpoint than anyone talked about.
Do some digging.
I will. I don't think
sources.
I'll
You've got some. Mac and X got some sources. I'm not gonna reveal them.
But he's not.
I don't even know who they are. But you got some.
He's not the type of guy that's gonna like. Oh yeah, I was.
Right.
I don't think Dallas got the full version of Anthony Edwards that the Suns and the Nuggets got before that tumble at Target Center in Game 6.
And the Wolves either didn't do a great job on Kyrie, or he had a phenomenal series and then tailed off after that. So I mean, but yes, Ant, that fall was. I mean, that was no small thing. And he comes back to play, so you sort of forget about it. But there is no question that could have impeded him for sure. But yeah, the Christmas Day. So the Christmas Day game, I'm excited for. I believe this will be the 3rd time that the Wolves have appeared on Christmas Day. I am disappointed. I will reiterate this again by the fact that game is not at Target Center. I believe all 3 of the Christmas Day games have been on the road. It would be it's a 1 p.m. tip. It'd be a perfect time to leave the house. On Christmas Day, you get out, get away from the family a little bit.
But Dallas is saying the same thing. Dallas is like, we beat them in the Western Conference Finals.
I know, but I mean, the Wolves have Ant, and they've got obviously star power in Luka as well. Anyway, I wanted that game at home. A little disappointed. Would like to see it next year.
Got to earn it. Beat the Mavs this year on Christmas, and then get your ass to the NBA Finals, and you'll get a home.
Another arena thing. It might appear small and not important. But this is the year where you have to flip it. Ant has to be the last player introduced at home games, not Cat.
Yeah.
We need to flip that. Ant is your bread.
Is there
and
any
butter.
reason at this point? I could see going into last year where you're looking and saying, okay, Ant was good, but it wasn't as apparent that Ant was the guy on the team going into last year, right?
Was not.
It is very apparent now. And and then Olympics, gold medal. No feelings are going to be hurt by this, right?
Well, Carl's might be, but I really don't care. And he has to.
I don't think so.
And he knows. He knows that Ant is now. That's the thing is, yes, a year ago we were still talking. I felt like a little bit more about Carl and Ant, like Carl and Ant being on not the exact same page, but it was closer. Now there's been a huge pull away by Ant. He needs to be the last player.
Yep, I think you're right. We'll see. I'll tap my sources for that.
How about that?
So I got homework.
How about that for a small little dig, huh? How about that?
Ant, what am I sourcing?
Dad. Ant's injury against the Mavericks.
And then
tailbone probably.
Last player announced.
And then and actually don't check with your sources on the last one. Just tell them. Hey, Ant's
this
gonna
needs
be the
to
last
happen.
Guy. Yeah. Hey, look, I'm talking to you right now. This needs to happen. Ant needs to be the last guy. It's just
I'm in charge of arena ops now. I'm the captain now.
I'm the captain.
I'm the captain.
It's a prestigious thing. It's a prestigious thing, and Anthony deserves that.
Yeah. So yeah, let us know what other games. What are we missing here? What are some of your favorite stretches? Let us know in the YouTube comment section. Tweet at us. And so I'm going to be traveling the rest of the week. I know Kyle is too. So we'll reconvene with the Kyle episodes and the Random Wolf of the Week next week on Flagrant Howls. This is a Timberwolves lifestyle podcast.